Rachel, you're intelligent, you're famous for being intelligent. Do you believe in aliens?
Well, my mum used to be part of an alien search club.
Oh.
Like, they had membership cards and everything, and they used to go to this windmill in Rayleigh and have little meetings.
I think she went dogging and she didn't want to tell you. Where are you going? We're looking for aliens, love. There were flashing lights.
The car was covered in plasma.
They came right up to the whisper. The car was covered in plasma.
I know. I haven't been fully supportive of that kind of thing, but yeah, I mean, Stephen Hawking would believe in aliens. There's more chance that they're out there than they're not.
It'd be pretty solipsistic to believe it was just us, wouldn't it be? Like...
Yeah, plus there's people like Jimmy, kind of bridging the gap. I mean, there's something different about you, isn't there?
How dare you? I'm a robot built on Earth.
Can we go for the pumpkin one?
Pumpkin. OK, well, it's Halloween on Wednesday, so we asked our studio audience, are you looking forward to Halloween, yes or no? What do you think?
Oh, it's a Wednesday this year as well, so you can't even have a party, really.
Why can't you have a party on a Wednesday?
You could, but it wouldn't be a very good one.
You ain't never been to one of my Wednesday parties.
You stay here and watch Crime Watch. Ooh, yeah.
I went as Uma Thurman, the Kill Bill outfit one year, but it was just a plastic jumpsuit and it's the hottest thing. It was horrible.
That is the hottest thing I've ever heard. All right, here's your final question. Top way to waste time. What about you, Rachel? Presumably, I mean, countdown's the main one.
Well, countdown, yeah. It does, like, go into regular life. So whenever I see, like, a 3-digit number on a hotel door, I have to, like, factorise it. Or if I see a name, I have to put an anagram. So Tom Davis is an anagram of sad vomit.
Oh, that's great.
And Marley Maddox is an anagram of Madam Jail Dicks.
The top cause of family arguments.
Oh. Incest.
I mean, it's going to be a big argument, but I don't think it's going to be the biggest necessarily.
Did you see that couple that they couldn't get pregnant and they went to the doctors to see why, and they turned out they were twins?
What?
It was a couple of months ago. They're twins. They were adopted, but they didn't know they had and they knew the same birthday, and everyone used to joke, like, oh, it's funny, because they used to celebrate it together. And then it's only when they went to try it and they couldn't conceive that they found out.
Oh, my God.
That was always my biggest fear, when people say, oh, you date someone who looks like you.
Who would you date that looks like you?
No, I didn't know it was someone who looked like me.
Is this what your wife looks like? Like, this is a picture of your wife?
John, Rachel, Tim, what do you want to answer a question on?
Can we have the lady with the knife and fork? She looks angry about what's about to happen, and I want to find out why.
OK, all right. Well, your related question, OK? Worst thing on a date, a fussy eater or someone who drinks too much?
If they're a fussy eater, you can just eat their food. Done. I'm happy.
So that would be a good thing for you, a positive
That'd be
thing.
fine, as long as they actually go to the restaurant to start with, because I did go out with someone that would only eat, like, yellow stuff. When I was young, he'd only eat, like, chicken nuggets and chips, so...
So you'd go out to a restaurant and go, do you have anything yellow?
You go to a custard house. One of London's very fine custard houses.
How many dates did you have with this guy?
I went out with him for 3 years. Have you seen that programme on Channel 4, The Food Hospital?
The food hospital?
People that are sick go there and they get cures with different diets and stuff, but it's really good for making you eat healthily, or just not eat. Because it's on at, like, 8 o'clock. So the last couple of times we've been eating, and it's on, and they're doing this fibre challenge, and they keep showing you different pictures of poo, like, while you're trying to eat.
So you're saying your dieting tip is look at pictures of poo
while
you're eating?
It puts you off your food.
I think you want to go with a guy who's got more than one channel on his television. You come round my house, we'll watch the football, we'll stick the Simpsons on, I got DVDs. You've got the whole works. If you don't like watching shit while you eat, well, I'm the man.
And that is the worst proposition that's ever been made.
I find a heavy drinker on a date very much a positive. Well, if they're hammered, you know...
It's kind of different for the man or the
clincher.
woman.
Yeah.
The men might try and push drinks on the women, but if the woman can't really do anything with the drunk man.
Yes, you can. What are you going to go for?
Probably heavy drinking is worse.
I can tell you, you are right. Yes! 63% of people said someone who drinks too much is worse than a fussy eater. I think a fussy eater is worse. If she won't put that in her mouth, she's not going to like what I've got planned for dessert. OK, we've got one more thing to get. Fingers on buzzers. Go on, Sean.
Is it the bomb, pants bomber? The guy who had put a bomb in his underpants and he had no metal in it, which is obviously very bad news because it means now when you go through security, you've got to take your belt and your shoes off. Next, you're going to have to go onto the plane with your pants in a cellophane bag.
My favourite fact about that is apparently it was supposed to be a mistranslation and it's not 72 virgins, it's 72 grapes. You'd be a bit fucked off, wouldn't you? You blame yourself up. Yeah.
72 grapes.
Grapes, white grapes. And even virgins isn't great, is it?
Give me one girl who knows what she's doing. Yeah. OK, what else? There must be something more upbeat we could talk about. What else have people been talking about?
Another Bond movie?
Yeah.
Another one.
You don't sound excited.
Well, we've got Homeland now. We don't need Bond anymore.
You've got Homeland, we
Yeah.
don't need Bond?
Yeah. Homeland's way better than the Bond movies.
What are you saying?
I don't know. I went to see one. I went to see Casino Royale because they build it as it's nothing like a Bond film. It's totally different. And it was just another Bond film.
What was a Bond film?
Yeah, I know.
If your issue with a Bond film is it's just a Bond film.
These ones, they go, it's darker and grittier. Oh. It'd be darker if he had to get Ryanair flights everywhere. Sight of Bond kneeling beside the check-in desk, stuffing underwear in his pockets.
Most people secretly want to do another job, true or false? What would you do, John, if you weren't doing this?
I'd quite like to be a milkman. A real buzz out of giving people milk. But in my experience, unless you've got the uniform, it's weird.
I've got a friend who's a zookeeper, and it is an amazing job.
I've got a friend
Is this true? Really?
He's got a dangerous wild animal rescue facility in Woking, this little house in Essex. There's an emu, and he gave me an emu egg, which looks like a dino egg. It's bright green, and I made an omelette out of it the other day.
Oh. Well, that's...
Oh,
Sorry, is this a rescue centre for the animals? 'Cause if you're eating
it's
some
an
of them...
emu. No, it's an emu
We didn't
egg.
get the funding we were hoping for, so...
Well, Beaky hasn't got a boyfriend, so you're not eating it wouldn't be an emu because it's not fertilised. It's just an egg. It's
Go
just
very
like
nicely with the leopard bacon.
I'm sorry, Let's get some answers on this. So, most people secretly want to do another job, true or false? What you're going to go... True! True. John?
We think it's true.
OK, I can tell you the answer is true. 54% of people secretly want to do another job. Aisling's team, what do you think the nation have been talking about?
Well, I'd say it's our dear old pal in America, Lord Trump, the evil. He has fired James Comey, who's the head of the FBI, for investigating Trump into what was some probably dodgy dealings with Russia. And so now he's fired him in quite a dramatic way. And I'd say even Kim Jong-un's a bit like, come on, mate, this is a bit bad.
I think Trump misses The Apprentice and just wants to fire someone on telly again.
Yeah.
He wrote this really weird letter that said it's definitely nothing to do with Russia, and thank you for not investigating me. I'm not being investigated. I'm not being investigated. You're fired. Nothing to do with that. Have fun.
He's basically doing the political equivalent of like, hey guys, look over there.
So whatever country, it's always Russia, isn't it? That Putin's a right nosy bastard, isn't he?
But it has. Jeremy Corbyn's upped his game this week, but it feels a bit too late. Like, he's come out with some amazing stuff about zero-hour contracts and not selling arms to Saudi and all this kind of stuff. But I feel a bit like he's had a Viagra at the end of the orgy. People are sort of pulling on their jeans, asking for a glass of water from the host. Like, it just feels like a little too late.
I just feel like he's offering so many things. Like, he wants to scrap tuition fees that Labour put in to start with, and he's offering money for NHS. It's like he's like skipping through a field of flowers, just like tossing stuff around, where he can't actually get any of it done. And he's got Diane Abbott saying he's going to pay all these police people 30 quid a head.
Oh, she thinks the election's on the 49th of July.
What did they do? How did footballers get off with women before mobile phones?
Pigeon.
Yeah.
Pigeon. Imagine that.
Just drew a picture of their cock on a bank statement. Here's my bank statement, and that's what it looks like. I can't draw, so I got Rio to do it.
Rachel, you're a huge Manchester United fan.
Yeah, I am.
Have you met Ryan?
I have, yeah. As well as fulfilling my dream of doing times tables to music, I did some work for MUTV last year.
Sorry, what was your first dream?
Times tables to music. That's my day job. You may have seen it. It's on Channel 4.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go. So I was shown round Carrington, the United training ground, by Giggsy in Rio last year.
Blimey. I think you had a lucky escape.
It's a very extended euphemism.
Shown round?
Shown round, yeah. We started in the changing rooms, and we worked on
Don't call it that.
There were cameras there the whole time. It was fine.
Sean's team, what do you think people have been talking about over the last week?
Is it Strictly Come Dancing is back on our screens and lighting up Saturday night. A whole nation of people.
I should do it. I should host it.
What,
Strictly
Strictly?
Come Dancing. I can't say it, but I can host it.
How come you're not one of the judges? You'd make an excellent judge on that.
Because they've already got their I would be an excellent judge, yeah, you're right. I would, I'd be fucking great. I'm on the ice, you know.
You're on the ice?
I do the ice.
Would you ever consider going on it, Rachel? Would you?
I
imagine
would
they are,
suck.
don't they?
I had my
Would you?
Well, I think you'd probably get through.
I did do 1 hour with a Strictly Come Dancing ex-pro before our wedding.
Did you? What, you thought I'd treat myself before I met
No,
this
my husband made me. It wasn't anything to do with
Oh,
me.
to learn to dance. I'm sorry. I misunderstood that. If Carol Vorderman is so good with figures, why does she always insist on trying to squeeze hers into a dress that's clearly 2 sizes too small? And the award this evening for not laughing at a joke she clearly thought was funny goes to Rachel Riley. Congratulations.
I've been in a river where you get the catfish just come up to your whole body and do it.
The catfish come up to your whole body?
Your whole body. You hold this food, and wherever you hold
You're
it...
so naive. Those aren't catfish. Those are men that have paid good money to be there, Rachel. Where was it?
In Borneo. You go in this river, and these catfish, they're like that long. They come up to you and suck whichever bits you put your hand near.
Really?
Carol Vorderman has said that kids should learn maths compulsorily until they're 18.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. That's like 40 years.
She said they should do it.
No, it's 18 years. Where did you get him from?
She said it's increasingly important to be mathematically literate in the workplace. As if, like, at what point wasn't it? And why would you commission a maths report from someone who is good at maths but unemployed?
Not my fault.
It's a little bit your fault.
I didn't feel like people are actually that bad at maths until
I've seen
saw
some bad stuff, though.
Yeah,
What's the worst maths you've
I
seen?
did a programme with Dispatches, and they were looking at this school that had implemented this magical new teaching of maths. And I met an 11-year-old girl that couldn't work out 500 minus 499. This was after a year of their new magical teaching.
500 minus?
499.
Can you hold up your fingers? I'm going to need everyone's fingers. Sorry, audience.
You get how many fingers in one hand?
5.
How many fingers in 10 hands?
Oh, shit.
40.
Yeah, no, what?
Ask him again. Ask him again. What was the question?
Yeah, well, it's not difficult. It's your top's not done up, so it's hard. Do yourself, miss, do your top up, and then we can get on with the maths.
Ask me a question with 11 in it. Most people think their own nightmares are scarier than horror films.
My friend at uni took a girl on a first date to see Freddy versus Jason. And then on the way home, he bought her... Well, he didn't actually buy her. They went to KFC, but he wouldn't even treat her to the bucket.
He wouldn't even treat her to the bucket.
The KFC.
Is that...
She had to split the bucket.
He split the bucket? He didn't see a movie and then he split the bucket. Well, that sounds like... That's the rudest thing I've ever said. Joe, what have the nation been talking about over the last week?
Faster trains.
Faster trains.
Between Manchester, Leeds and London.
Manchester,
Fast, isn't it?
Too fast.
You'll have to change train impressions for kids. Like, it can't go... Won't do that, will it? It'll just go...
wasn't that long ago that they binned Concorde, which was really quick getting to the States because it cost too much money. But now they've decided to spend 30 billion just to go to Manchester.
Are you saying we should get Concords to Manchester?
We could...
I'm
30 billion, yeah.
Well, for that kind of money, I mean, there's other things we could spend that money on, aren't there? I mean, it's a huge amount.
Yeah.
We could have a free bar on the train for 20 years. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are... Rachel, come on, you're good at maths. Do the scores. Quickly, do the scores. Add up the scores. Quickly. Do the maths.
There's no music, there's no music.
There's no da-da. OK, 17 times 35.
No, not without the music.
Not without the music. Come on, quick, 17 times 35.
Is it 595?
That is the correct answer. Did you know, for example, 30% of people would consider moving abroad after a holiday? I read about 2 girls who recently went on holiday to Peru, and they liked it so much they're staying for 6 to 8 years. 20% of travellers claim to be members of the Mile High Club. I once had a near miss on a flight to Thailand. Sorry, not near miss. Pre-op transsexual. And 23% of Brits have never visited France, which means they've never experienced the thrill of sitting in a cafe on the Champs-Élysées and being put off their croissant by the sight of a woman's hairy armpits and the smell of dog shit. Right, let's get started. Yes, Sinead O'Connor has angrily criticised Miley Cyrus for her raunchy video. It was shocking seeing Miley Cyrus on stage at the MTV Awards in a skimpy outfit, rubbing herself up against a penis, or Robin Thicke, as he's otherwise known. Yes, the X Factor live finals have started. Lorna Simpson claims she was voted off X Factor because of a fix. Yes, Lorna, God fixed it by giving you an average voice and a shit personality. Yes, Tesco has revealed the extent of food wastage in the country. According to the survey, 53% of food in this country goes to waste. The rest goes to hips and bums, right, girls? Did you know, for example, 80% of obese people say they've got no idea how much they should be eating? Here's a clue, less than that. 30% of people say their favourite meal hasn't changed since childhood. My favourite meal's still the same, sucking on boobies, right, Mum? And 18% of the population has sleepwalked. My girlfriend's a terrible sleepwalker. A few weeks ago, she sleepwalked out of the house, met up with her ex-boyfriend, they sleep-shagged, and now she sleep-left me. When she wakes up, she's going to be so embarrassed. Yes, Miley Cyrus caused controversy allegedly smoking marijuana on stage at the MTV Music Awards, although I saw the footage of Miley and I think I could see a better crack. Things get out of hand so quickly. I once heard of a girl who lied to her husband about how she got pregnant, and now there's an entire religion. Yes, a new series of X Factor is underway. Dermot O'Leary says millions of extra viewers have tuned in order to see his trouser bulge. Oh, Dermot, put a sock in it. Oh, wait, hang on, you have. Yes, only 31% of people find driving a stressful experience. I tell you what stresses me out, those white van drivers. They think they own the bloody road with their flashing blue lights. Calm down, mate. There's an accident up ahead. We've all got to wait. Did you know, for example, students have to apply for an average of 24 jobs before they find a position? Things are tough out there. I met a guy recently who told me he had a first with honours, an MA and a PhD. I said, that's great, but I asked you for a burger without pickle. 72% of people find spending time with animals relaxing. I like having dogs around, but my girlfriend objects to all the licking of balls and sniffing of bums. She says it upsets the dogs. And 40% of men worry about getting fat. There's a simple test for men. Look down at your stomach. If it's flat, you've got nothing to worry about. If it's sticking out a bit, you might need to go on a diet. And if you can't see your stomach because your boobs are getting in the way, you've got a problem. I like spending time with my favourite animal in my basement. It's a sort of centipede. I made it myself. It was a lot of work, and it's a bit messy, makes a hell of a noise, but it was worth it. Yes, the hardest job is a teacher. All the teachers at my school were very strict. I remember every Monday morning I had to give the deputy head. Yes, the worst thing about living alone is having no one to talk to. There's an old man who lives alone next door to me. Still, he's just bought himself a new dog for company. I think he's called it Help, because I keep on hearing him calling it. Help! 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 Don't worry, though. I think the dog's come back, because I haven't heard him shouting anything in ages. Graffiti artist Banksy set up a secret stall in New York and sold his artwork for just $60. There hasn't been a discount on art this big since Rolf Harris was arrested. So those were the most talked about things this week. But in other news, the US debt crisis has been resolved. Americans are going to have to tighten their belts, which won't be easy for them, as most of them are wearing elasticated trousers. British Gas has put up prices by 10%. Our only hope of beating the energy crisis now is to build more wind farms and to switch exclusively to Mexican food. And it's been revealed this week that the Soviet Union once ran up a huge debt to New Zealand after importing massive quantities of butter. I'm not sure where the Soviets kept all this butter, but I'm guessing in the middle of Kiev. Did you know, for example, 43% of men flirt with people behind their partners' backs? I have to confess, I sometimes flirt with people without telling my girlfriend, but it doesn't mean anything. It's just a bit of harmless banter in the steam room of a gay sauna. It's nothing. 11% of single women have already picked out their wedding dress. It's an important decision. It's a lot of money to spend on a dress you're only going to wear never. And video game controllers have 5 times the amount of germs found on a toilet seat. It's their own fault for giving them that vibrate function. Yes, indeed, Strictly Come Dancing has started again. In the first episode of this series of Strictly, everyone agreed Abby Clancy stole the show. Typical Scouser. Channel 4's new show, Sex Box, aired this week. If I want to have sex in a small, windowless box devoid of any romance or sexual excitement, I'll book me and my girlfriend into a travel lodge. Strictly Come Dancing continues. One of the celebrities, Patrick Robinson, is from Casualty. His dance starts well, but halfway through he starts climbing a stepladder to hang Christmas lights over a bath, and you think this isn't going to end well. Did you know, for example, 1.5 million Britons would like to be buried with their mobile phone? And if you answer it when you're sitting behind me in the cinema, you will be. 1 in 20 people have held a party for their cat's birthday. Even the cat's thinking, this is a bit tragic. And 22% of nightclub hookups are one-night stands. Yeah, who would have thought the guy you tugged off in a toilet cubicle 2 minutes after meeting him in Hollywood's nightclub Romford wouldn't turn out to be the love of your life? But if you are watching, Darren, call me. Yes, the Plebgate row has intensified this week. Andrew Mitchell's always disputed the police's version of events, saying, I 100% deny calling those pricks plebs. Yes, the Tory party conference. The conference started with a short film about Margaret Thatcher, which got a standing ovation. To be fair, it has got a brilliant ending. Yes, Britain's youth have scored amongst the lowest in international literacy and numeracy tests. How do you expect Britain's teenagers to learn to read and write? They're too busy bringing up their kids. So those were the most talked about things this week. But in other news, Silvio Berlusconi is set to carry out 12 months of community service, although unfortunately the community he's chosen is a Catholic girls' school. And this week, a Bristol woman of 85 got her first ever tattoo. She had the Grim Reaper on her shoulder, watching as she got a tattoo of a dolphin. Yes, the Great British Bake Off was the most talked about thing this week. Bake Off's not been a great success in America, of course, over there. It's a dieting show. Yes, men's biggest worries are putting on weight and going grey. Either way, the solution is the same. Diet. Yes, David Cameron has reshuffled his cabinet. David Cameron denies putting more women in the cabinet is mere tokenism. The promotions are Minister for Hoovering, Helen Grant, and Nicky Morgan, the new Minister for Total Sexiness. Did you know, for example, 36% of people think the best way to dump someone is over the phone? Please press 1 for it's not you, it's me. 2 for we can still be friends, and 3 for I'm sorry, I've got your mum pregnant. 25% of men pretend to be asleep if they hear a strange noise in the night. I can't get to sleep sometimes because there's this strange bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. I asked my girlfriend, is there a fly in here? And she said, yes, yes, yes! And 73% of dieters abandon their diet at the weekend. And there's a special name for those dieters. Fat people. Yes, the Badger cull's been extended as they say they haven't killed enough animals. The aim of the cull was to stop the spread of bovine TB and to distract Brian May from making any more music. Yes, Alex Ferguson's autobiography was released this week. In the book, Ferguson is scathing about David Beckham, Roy Keane and Wayne Rooney. If that lot ever learn to read, they'll be livid. 25% of people have dirty photos on their phones. Helen Flanagan has literally hundreds of absolutely filthy photos on her mobile. I know, because I sent them to her. Did you know, for example, 10% of British people let their pet sleep in their bed? There's nothing more relaxing than waking up in the night to feel the weight of your dog on your chest, to feel his fur, hear his gentle panting, and sense his eyes staring at you in the darkness. Until you realise, hang on a minute, I haven't got a dog. 54% of teenagers never go to the cinema. Really? Where do they make their phone calls? And 25% of Brits rate themselves 10 out of 10 in the bedroom. I'd give myself 9.9 because I fell over on the dismount. Yes, the top thing people wish they were better at is speaking foreign languages. We had a really great French teacher at my school, but in the end I failed the oral. Apparently I didn't cup les balls properly. Most annoying thing about going to the cinema?
I personally happen to enjoy them, but I feel like a lot of people complain about the previews, you know?
I get annoyed, but I get the previews or trailers, as we call them,
trailers,
because that's what they're called. I get annoyed when there's a trailer for something that's better than the thing I've gone to see. So you're going, oh, why have I come to see this? That looks amazing.
Yeah, usually it's because it hasn't opened yet, is why. Because it's a preview.
But it's all crazy. The internet now, they had the best day ever. And
yeah, indeed, yeah, the best online day.
$182 million in one day in internet sales. And they looked it up, and it was Mel Gibson buying Nazi memorabilia. And I thought that was fascinating.
Well, obviously, we've got Jerry on the show. We'll pick a picture of Jerry.
You'd be crazy not to. OK.
Yes.
Now, Jerry, on your show, you give out plenty of advice. You're brilliant at it. So we asked our studio audience, are you good at giving advice? Yes or no? What do you think they said?
I think everyone thinks they're good at giving advice, otherwise they wouldn't give it. Yeah, I don't give good advice. I wouldn't listen to me. I do the final thought at the end of the show. That's my advice. But first of all, I'm lying because it's never my final thought. I'm always coming back the next day with another one.
Well, one of these days. Jerry, what's the most extreme show you made?
The show I remember is the guy who married his horse. But in my final thought, I came out against it. I want you
What did you say? Nay means nay.
I need to apologize for the show. I'm so sorry. I could just take a minute to apologize to the British people for my show. I didn't mean to do it. Your
show, there's nothing about
I've ruined
your
the
show.
culture. I've destroyed the culture. I'm going to hell. And I just hope hell isn't that hot. I'm very light complected.
See, I recently got attuned in Reiki.
Oh, that's channeling.
It's kind of like a healing energy that you are the channel for. And it's really weird because I think it really works.
Sorry, do you want to buy some magic beans?
You can do Reiki as well, can't you?
I used to be a hippie. I've moved on.
What's that? What's that? But Jimmy does Reiki? You make her.
Quite right.
What did she look like that was doing the Reiki?
What does she look like?
Yeah, it was like this gorgeous girl doing Reiki over you. Or was that... I think that makes a big difference with a man. If we were both Reiki instructors, who would make you guys feel better? Come on, shut your eyes. Come on, Howie. Shut your eyes so you won't know who does which first. Now, one of us is going on one side, one of us is going to get on the other side.
Right, you're going to what, heal me?
Which side felt better?
I think the left-hand side felt like it would be slightly more expensive. And the right-hand side felt like if you're on a budget in a hurry, why not? Which side was which?
I was the budget in a hurry, thanks.
wish it had gone further, but you were probably thinking of the calories, weren't you? Christian, when you were at school, weren't you in The Name of the Rose and Prince of Thieves? How old were you when you were in those?
15, 16, yeah.
So presumably you didn't have to do any... You went, oh, I'm going to the Oscars.
I still had to do schoolwork. I mean, I still had to go, you know, go to school and do all that. I had a tutor, lovely lady. She helped me out a lot.
Did you sleep with your tutor? There was a little glint in your eye that suggests that your tutor was teaching you a lot of things.
Thanks for picking
a lot of things you need to know.
Thanks for picking that up. She was lovely, yes, and I learned a lot.
On I'm a Celebrity, you claimed your maid's name was Vaginica Seaman. Is that true?
Yes.
Is she real?
She's real.
Are you sure she's
I'm
real?
positive she's as real as this set is real. Her mother, and this is the truth, her mother loved her body part so much, she said if she had a girl, she was gonna name it Vaginica. Then, no, this is true, no bull. Then she married a guy named Harry Seaman.
Harry Seaman.
She became Vaginica Seaman.
What's her middle name?
I have no idea.
She hasn't got a middle name. Suppose she doesn't need one, really. Mostly when she tells her name, she's probably just wiping the drink they've just spat in her face. What's your name?
John Steam, what else have people been talking about this week?
Lance Armstrong. Is that something that's, I feel like that's been popular over here as well.
We've been chatting about it a little bit. American sportsmen generally, yeah.
Yeah. You guys get American things here?
You get too many.
I'll be honest with you.
Treat. You can have that back. Can I get a coffee? No, you can't get a coffee. You can have a coffee. You can only get a coffee if you bloody work there. That's another American thing. The Easter Bunny. You've just opened a can of worms with me, man.
Relax, I'll talk to Mr. America.
Oh, I'm sorry, all right, sorry.
I think it's Captain America. Give us the story. What happened with Lance Armstrong?
There's a big report just basically blaming him for not just being involved in doping, but sort of spearheading all the efforts for the entire team.
Yeah, he's ruined cheating for a lot of people. It was something I almost admired sometimes. You know, someone's a bit of a cheat. You go, it's quite clever to cheat, but he's just gone nuts. He cheated. He didn't just cheat in one Tour de France. Yeah, but he cheated 7 times. You'd think after you've done it once, you'd go, I got away with that. Carried on. Just the sheer energy for the cheating. I don't know where he got that from. It's not just the steroids he cheated with. He had a testicle removed, so he was lighter as well.
A Brit just won the Tour de France for the first time, right? That was pretty exciting this past summer. Cavendish, right? Actually,
No,
English.
it's Bradley Wiggins.
No. What?
I think Bradley Wiggins wins.
That's what I said. What did you hear?
I said Mark Cavendish.
You don't know what you're talking about.
The next round is called The Poll with a Hole. We've looked through hundreds of surveys from past and present from around the world and unearthed some fascinating facts. Unfortunately, each statistic is missing one salient piece of information. So it's up to our panellists to fill in the gaps. Here's your first one. Johnny?
Sir.
Have you...
I didn't see a thing.
He can't read.
I can't. I'm an actor. I can't read. I don't know what it said.
OK. 76% of mechanics don't what?
Is it don't agree with the consensus view that Ulysses is James Joyce's finest work because I actually quite prefer Finnegan's Wake?
Service cars properly.
That is the correct answer.
Where the hell did I get that? I'm possessed. Oh, no.
You're not having a point. Damn it. You are not having the points. I'm hurt. I've turned off the buzzer.
Okay.
Okay, Sean, what do you think the nation should be talking about this week?
Well, there's the Britain's Got Talent, which you used to do, didn't you? You did it over here, didn't you?
I did it over here.
Britain's Got Talent's mainly made here, Sean.
You know what I meant, bloody Mr. Logic.
Yeah? What's the American one called?
What's the American one called?
America's Got Talent.
I knew it!
Yeah.
But you were great on the show.
Yeah, thanks. I had a hard time understanding everyone, but I got to tour the country and,
Well, you ended up going out with a lovely Welsh girl as well, yeah?
Yeah, my girlfriend is from Gleneath, and the weather is weather's tough over there. The weather's tough everywhere. You have 2 winters over here. I mean, you have 2 summers. It's like you have winter and July.
Yeah, that's why the buttons on our shirt go all the way up to the top.
If they made Baywatch in Britain, you'd seen a lot more nipples coming through those.
I haven't watched Britain's Got Talent this year until last night. I realized that the show is exactly the same as it was last year. They just go to, like, the hospital, and it's like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and they give you the people medication, and they send them to Britain's Got Talent.
And that's how you got the job. Joan, have you ever seen a cricket match?
I hate sports.
You hate sports?
I go to tennis matches, I don't even turn my head, you know. The ball doesn't come back, that idiot missed it. I mean, you know, just... I don't like sports. Yeah.
Last week, protesters gained access to Yanukovych's estate, which featured a replica galleon, a golf course, a boxing ring, and a private petting zoo. We've got a shot of his galleon. That was in his back garden.
I just think it's a bad idea for a leader of a country to have that much, to live in a castle. I mean, who wants to live in a country where your leader lives in a castle and has all those riches?
You're a guest here, Jerry. Christian, do you think people should be allowed to take phone calls?
To tape phone calls?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys were talking about?
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, there's certain conversations I wish I had taped in my life.
Which conversations do you wish you'd take?
Well, they're, you know, little private, quiet conversations that I wish... they're distant memories now, and I really enjoyed them when I was having them, so...
Resent people talking about fatties like this. I belong to Overeaters Anonymous.
Really?
Yes, this is the truth. And it's very, a lot of you here are thin, so, but it is very, very sad because we all sit there and the women cry, and they go, no one loves me. And I always say, yes, your butcher loves you, your baker loves you. And one woman, I mean, last week, right before I came over here, she was saying things like, I went on an airplane and she was sobbing. And she said, and they made me buy 2 seats, and she just cried. And then I said, yes, but now you can have 2 meals, and she perked up. If we want to be fat, God damn it, we can be fat. That's the way it goes.
David, do you dance?
No, I have a cousin.
You have a cousin?
Yeah. I have a cousin.
Good answer.
I have a cousin, 279 pounds.
279 pounds.
Started ballroom dancing, Fred Astaire studio. Met this lovely woman, 5 months, lost 100 pounds, got syphilis, and died.
If that's not being made into a musical, Did you know, for example, cat owners are 30% less likely to have a heart attack? And that, lonely ladies living on your own with no family, partner, friends, or love life, is the good news. Walking sideways burns 78% more calories than walking normally, which is why you never see a fat crab. And 35% of women would hate their partner to see their underarm hair, so they hide it under their nose and poking out of their knickers. Yes, Britain continues to be battered by freezing weather. Conditions in Birmingham were described as appalling, with no food on the shelves, schools shut and emergency services stretched to breaking point, and then it began to snow. College in County Durham is running an X Factor preparation course. It teaches the 3 golden rules: work on your vocals, become homeless, and wait for your nan to die. And pubic lice are becoming extinct due to an increase in body waxing. Conservationists have now declared David O'Doherty a nature reserve. The government have unveiled plans for a new high-speed rail line. It said it will cost £32.7 billion, or £35 billion if you get a return. Yes, MPs have passed a bill to make gay marriage legal, even if it's a way of life you yourself don't subscribe to. Even if you think it's weird or somehow against nature, you still have to respect people's right to be a Tory MP. Did you know, for example, 1 in 20 couples say they sleep in separate rooms to strengthen their relationship? I guess they also have sex with other people to prove how much they love each other. 10% of people never talk about food at work, and that's because they're too fat to work, and besides, they don't want to talk with their mouth full. And 25% of men never use deodorant, but unfortunately, they do use public transport. Manchester City won their first Premier League title in 44 years. Well, that's not strictly true. For 43 years straight, they won shittest club in Manchester. Yes, it was Valentine's Day yesterday. It's named after Saint Valentine, the patron saint of awkward meals at Pizza Express. So those were the most talked about things this week. But in other news, Paralympian Oscar Pistorius has been arrested for shooting and killing his girlfriend. Finally, a story Lance Armstrong can read and think, I'm actually not that bad a bloke. Yes, the top thing people learn from TV shows are cooking tips. The best thing about my girlfriend's cooking is I know exactly what I'm going to get. Gastroenteritis. Yes, the horse meat scandal continues. IKEA have stopped selling meatballs after finding they contained horse meat. It's terrible. If you can't trust cheap meat products sold as an afterthought in a Swedish furniture shop, what can you trust? So those were the most talked about things this week. But in other news, a woman in Las Vegas has been caught having sex with a dog in her front yard. Oh, God, get a kennel. It's her own fault. She'd been leading him on for years. Police found the dog burying his bone in her back garden. 1 in 3 Scots want to leave the United Kingdom. So far, they've got as far as the off licence. And 20% of people would have sex on a plane. I once had a little bit of foreplay with a girl I met on a plane, Aer Lingus. After 70 years, 20,000 British troops are being brought home from Germany. And why not? If history's taught us anything, it's if there's one country that can be trusted on its own, it's Germany. Did you know, for example, 5% of UK adults take a teddy bear on holiday? It's ridiculous. Everyone knows the best way to smuggle cocaine is up a dog's bum. 8% of parents admit to having a favourite child. My parents always made it clear I wasn't their favourite, which is tough on an only child. And 10% of people have had sex in their office. I used to go out with a girl who worked for the council. She once let me have sex in the waste management department. It was my birthday. Did you know, for example, for every human in the world, there are 1 million ants, but surprisingly, only 1 deck? 30% of men buy their partners red roses on their anniversary. I bought my girlfriend some red roses, some red lingerie, and we had some red wine. And then we went up to the bedroom and read. And 5% of women think their eyebrows are their best feature. Ladies, I don't know much about eyebrows, but I do know they shouldn't be poking out the sides of your pants. Yes, Doctor Who is third on our list of favourite shows. People say the show's not realistic, but I think it is. It's featured 11 different doctors, and I've never seen a single one of them washing their hands. So, those were the nation's favourite TV shows. But The Only Way is Essex came 16th. At the start of each episode of Towie, a disclaimer is read out, stating that some scenes have been created for your entertainment. Well, none that I've seen. 10th on the list was X Factor. Every year, the X Factor finalists release a charity single to help the poverty-stricken and destitute. This year, it's in aid of Matt Cardle. And Strictly Come Dancing came 12th on our poll. The surprise star of last series was Lisa Riley. She put her success down to being double-jointed. At every meal, she has beef and lamb. Yes, David Cameron has promised an in-out referendum on Europe. France and Germany have said Britain can't pick and choose its terms with Europe. There are just 2 things you need to remember, France and Germany: World War I and World War II. Yes, the government is to introduce a new citizenship test. Personally, I think if you've got the stamina, determination and willpower to hang on to the underside of a lorry for 18 hours, fuck the test, welcome to Britain. Yes, archaeologists have uncovered the bones of Richard III in a Leicester car park. The remains of Richard III have been sitting in the car park since 1485. The good news is the first 2 hours were free. People have been talking about there are traces of horse meat have been found in several supermarket burgers. Silvercrest Food, one of the suppliers of the horse meat contaminated burgers, is said to be an award-winning company. And it turns out the award they won was the Grand National in 2012. Did you know, for example, the average man in Glasgow owns 2 suits, one for court and the other for the next time they go to court? 83% of teenage girls keep a diary, which it turns out is very bad news for 70s DJs. And 1 in 8 men try to lose weight before going on holiday. I decided to cheat. I got myself one of those things that makes you look thinner on the beach. A fat girlfriend. Yes, it was transfer deadline day yesterday. Manchester City striker Mario Balotelli has moved to AC Milan. David Beckham has signed for French club PSG. If you're watching, David, be careful what you eat in France. They recently found some beef DNA in their horse burgers. Jess Ennis was at the peak of physical fitness in the heptathlon. Watching her, I couldn't help feeling ashamed of myself because I could see what I was doing reflected in the telly. Yes, the Oscars were held on Sunday. Daniel Day-Lewis was the big winner. With his Oscars for My Left Foot, There Will Be Blood, and now Lincoln, he's won more Oscars for unwatchable, tedious films than anyone in history. Yes, the top advice you'd give your younger self is to be more confident. If I went back in time, I'd say to my younger self, you need to be more confident. And my younger self would say, what the fuck have you done to my teeth? Yes, UFOs. I once found myself surrounded by these strange, misshapen humanoids. I didn't know what to say, so I just said the first thing that popped into my head. Hello, Norwich. Yes, the Pope has resigned. He's going to be difficult to replace. Where are we going to find another paedophile apologist who's also a Nazi? Yes, the best thing about living with your parents is not having to pay bills. Just because you live with your parents doesn't mean you can't have a life. My mate lives with his parents and he got lucky the other night. Crispy pancakes for tea. Yes, the worst thing about fancy dress parties is people who don't dress up. I went to a fancy dress party as a pirate. Illegally copied all their DVDs. Yes, this week Lance Armstrong spoke to Oprah Winfrey about his drug scandal. Lance Armstrong is now despised around the world, which is the second thing he's got in common with Hitler. Did you know, for example, 1/3 of people flush the toilet while still sat on it, which I believe is known as a Manchester bidet. It takes the average person 7 minutes to fall asleep, although that can drop to under a minute if you're going out with John Richardson. Which you're not. No one is. Well, you go out with him then. And 25% of women have difficulty experiencing orgasms. They could try having a threesome with me and their more attractive sister. Might help, might not. I'm just saying, let's give it a go. Caprice is ideal for the high dive because these days her face permanently looks like it's travelling at 60 miles an hour. Yes, the most annoying thing that couples do is argue in front of other people. My dad had an amazing technique to avoid arguments in our house. He left when I was 2. I can tell you that Chris Huhne is not in our top 3, but Chris Huhne's girlfriend is bisexual, just like he'll be by the time he comes out of prison. Did you know, for example, 25% of people can write a text without looking at their phone, which is great because it means you can really concentrate on your driving. 48% of Brits think social networks can help new relationships. It's so true. My life has been such a social whirlwind since I joined Grindr. I've hardly been able to sit down. And 20% of men don't know what a pedicure is. A pedicure? Pretty sure it's a cure for men like Jimmy Savile. Yes, the controversy over horse meat continues. Tesco pulled products off their shelves this week. That is a case of shutting the stable door after the horse has bolted into the mincer at the meat processing plant. Yes, the top thing people boast about is their kids. I make it a rule never to boast about my kids. The last thing I want is for my girlfriend to find out about them. Yes, the Pope's retired. Of course, the Pope was famously against using condoms. He said he couldn't feel anything. Yes, Justin Bieber caused outrage by turning up 2 hours late for a gig. It's not just kids that like Justin Bieber. My nan actually describes herself as a belieber. She's very religious and she's lost her teeth. Did you know, for example, 1 in 5 women have been offended by a partner calling them curvy? On behalf of men everywhere, I'd just like to say, sorry, fatty. 79% of pet owners sleep with their pets. But be careful, the last time I did, when I woke up, my duvet was soaking wet and my goldfish was dead. And 12% of adults regularly get sucked into money-making schemes. I got sucked into a money-making scheme. I made 50 quid, and to be honest, it didn't taste half as bad as I expected. I wrote a book about poltergeists, and I'm pleased to say it's literally flying off the shelves. Yes, the best way to make friends is to listen to people's problems. Of course, some people like me have the opposite problem, too many friends. It's like every makeup girl we've ever had on this show has had to leave because I'm too friendly. Yes, the best way to relax after a hard day at work is watch TV. I always like to sit in front of the telly and veg out, and by that I mean I don't wear any trousers. Did you know, for example, 1 in 8 adults in this country own a onesie? That's great, although I think there's a time and a place for a onesie. The place, your living room, the time, when you're 6. 79% of people enjoy experimenting with their meals, particularly the staff at Findus. And cat owners are 30% less likely to have a heart attack, mainly because their heart's already been broken. Do people send you pictures?
No, we do. They'll Skype in.
So do you have to meet someone before you diagnose them? Could you diagnose just from a text?
Dodgy ground. You'd never...
Could you make some more noise with your massive fucking shoes?
I think she should be on Embarrassing Bodies with the horse feet. I've got the feet of a Shire horse.
I've got an embarrassing body I wanted to check with you.
It just looks really unmanageable. You should comb it.
Now, I've got like a hole in my chest.
What do you mean you've got a hole in your chest?
But it just keeps going in.
Go on, show us that. What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I'll have a go. I'll have a look.
Well, let's see if it's like a concaveness.
That's disgusting.
Cheers.
Fingers on buzzers.
Is it that one member of the audience in a white hat who, for some reason, is like quite angelic right at the back of the room there, freaking me out all the way through?
Lord, do you have a message for us? We've just chosen to randomly light one member of the audience like an angel.
Really well lit.
Take your hat off, sir. We've got standards. Oh, no, sorry. Put it back on. I had no idea. I'm sorry. Brit's biggest regret?
Was it not letting Harry go to Iraq?
Is it the repeal of the Corn Laws?
Ooh, 1832.
That was stupid. That was crazy. Because they were good, those Corn Laws.
What, sorry?
1847. Nice call.
Was it 1847? Surely it was 32.
That was the Reform Act.
What do you think it's going to be like to sleep with a girl? Good knowledge, though. Brit's biggest regret?
Trisha.
Do you think you're a hypochondriac, yes or no?
Well, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? If you think you are, but you're waiting to be told, then are you or aren't you?
I'll tell you what, the test is actually the Whiteley Index for hypochondriacs, OK? So just answer this honestly, we'll see if you're a hypochondriac. Do you worry a lot about your health?
No. I've got bigger problems than that, Jimmy. Healthy and miserable. I'd rather be ill and happy.
Do you find that you're often aware of various things happening to your body?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think there's something seriously wrong with your body?
I think other people think there's something seriously wrong. I think women.
Particularly the front.
Yeah. It is. There's a sort of strange swelling at the front. I think I've got a big round...
Erection! We would have got there, mate. Don't panic. Appreciate you being part of the team and all, and...
I don't think they're going to spot this knob gag. Better help these guys out. There's a knob gag and they haven't seen it. This is what I call an emergency.
We're ruling out the possibility that it's the first one he's ever had and he wants everyone to know about it.
Erection! Erection! 15 Australian miners were sacked for doing the Harlem Shake. So we asked our studio audience, is it important to have fun at work? Yes or no? No, not asking you... Oh. They've got to... The question's for them.
Yeah.
Not really? Yeah. Have you never seen this fucking show? What are you thinking?
I'm
going to go with yes, Jimmy. It's...
I mean, it's all good and well to laugh and all that. I mean, we're Germans, we like a laugh. We do. It's just we laugh once the work is done.
Of course it's important to have fun at work. I mean, I'm not a dick, I'm not an arsehole. At the first few Harlem Shuffles, I was like, this is funny. You know, like there was Wacky Tacky Tie Day, then that had its day, and now it's Harlem Shuffle Day. I just worry about the trend this is going in. It's going to be like, oh, we call it Gangbang Thursdays.
I mean, I can see why John and Henning don't like it, because obviously you are to fun what grit is to snow.
Welcome your host, Jimmy Carr. Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats, a show about opinion polls, surveys and statistics. Did you know, for example, 16% of women say they lie about their age from time to time, and those times are between the ages of 28 and 53. 40% of men would rather be single than bald. So finally, some good news for Justin Lee Collins. And 23% of people think they're more productive when they work from home. I know I am, but that's because I'm a self-employed erection checker. But in other news, former Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic is on trial for orchestrating genocide. Bad enough to commit genocide, but to set it to music, that's just sick. And in footballing news, John Terry isn't appealing. I could have told you that. Only 24% of people would rather host a house party than go to one. I like to party like it's 1999. Everything's a little bit cheaper, and I'm not with my current girlfriend. It's quite funny, but she's going to kill me. The worst thing is when you turn up at a house party dressed as Batman, and then you realise, A, it's not fancy dress, B, you haven't been invited, C, it's Christmas Eve, and D, she won't let you in to see your kids. Did you know, for example, 32% of Britons aged between 25 and 39 live at home with their parents? I guess that can be awkward sometimes. For instance, if you're a grown-up who's currently watching this with your parents, why don't you all just take a moment to imagine each other having sex? See? Awkward. Only 1% of Brits don't own a TV. You know what I call people like that? Anything I like, they're not going to see this. And 15% of men have never touched a vacuum cleaner. I've never touched a vacuum cleaner. In fact, I've literally no idea how it got up there. The new Call of Duty computer game has been released. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is the most exciting, futuristic, slick, engrossing, brutal, Hollywood-produced reason you're still a virgin at 30 ever. But in other news, the CIA has been rocked by revelations that its chief, General Petraeus, had an affair. General Petraeus was betrayed by private emails. Private emails is now facing court-martial. This is the most disappointing thing to happen in the American espionage community since Brody's wife stopped getting her norks out in Homeland. And the Church of England have announced the Bishop of Durham is to become the new Archbishop of Canterbury. He's made up, as is his religion. 25% of people do their weekly online shop whilst in bed. I do. It helps me remember what we need. Meat, 2 veg, dumplings, a couple of baps. 83% of British people admit to stealing something from a hotel room. I stayed in a hotel the other day. I decided to throw caution to the wind, opened up the minibar and I downed all the bottles of bubbly. And then I woke up and realised I was in a travel lodge and all the shampoo had disappeared. 30% of Brits think it's acceptable to answer the phone during sex. It happens. Mum, it's for you. Did you know, for example, 9 out of 10 children visit McDonald's once a month? What's that thing that all the kids get in McDonald's? Oh, yeah, fat. 68% of men start conversations with strangers while queuing for the toilet. I wish people would just mind their P's and queue. And 27% of people keep a weapon by the bed to protect themselves against intruders. I don't have a weapon. Instead, I sleep in stockings and suspenders. Then if I'm burgled, I just throw back the covers and say, what kept you? Well, have a announced the release of the new iPad Mini. Experts think the iPad Mini will be the most popular gift this Christmas. So if you work in a Chinese sweatshop, that tea break might just have to wait. But in other news, Conservative Chief Whip Andrew Mitchell has resigned after being accused of calling police officers plebs. People say pleb is the worst thing he could have called a policeman. Of course, they've forgotten about scum, peeler, plod, pig, bacon, rozza, 5-0, filth, dibble, busy, fuzz, tithead and And a Brazilian student has sold her virginity this week for £500,000. I'm not a prostitute, said the 20-year-old Brazilian prostitute. Did you know, for example, by 2030, 26 million Brits will be obese? Did you know if they all jumped up and down at the same time, they might lose a little bit of bloody weight? The average woman loses her virginity at 17. How's about that, then? And 70% of men don't get enough fibre in their diet. Tough shit. Yes, the Tory party conference. David Cameron and Boris Johnson have been described as frenemies, although I prefer to think of them as frasoles. The Tories say you'll now be able to attack burglars in your own home. If you ever try and burgle me, you're going to meet these two fellas. Please don't hurt me. But in other news, Freddie Starr has denied any involvement in the Jimmy Savile scandal, but these allegations risk leaving Freddie's reputation completely unchanged. And Cheryl Cole has revealed she needed vitamin jabs in her bum to cope after Ashley Cole's infidelity. I don't know if the jabs worked or not, but can I just say to Cheryl Cole's doctor, high five. Only 16% of people are regularly embarrassed by their partner's behaviour. Walking in on someone on the toilet is embarrassing. I'm so sorry I'm late. Did you know, for example, the average mum has 1 hour a day to themselves? That's the thing with mums, selfish. 25% of lap dancers have university degrees. Yes, most of them... Carol there, just getting the last joke. Or remembering something that happened earlier in her life, who knows? 25% of lap dancers have university degrees. Yes, most of them have a tutu, and a French maid's outfit, and a police uniform. And 20% of Brits have travelled abroad with their pet, which rises to 98% of Geordies. Come on, pet, where are we on holidays? Great. Yes, the competition for Strictly Come Dancing is heating up. Lisa Riley's odds have gone from 66 to 1 to 10 to 1. She thought, 10 to 1, lunchtime. But in other news, cyclist Bradley Wiggins has been knocked off his bike by a motorist. Bradley Wiggins was rushed to hospital where he was immediately stabilised by adding 2 smaller wheels to his big back wheel. It's been revealed the Prime Minister and Rebecca Brooks exchanged intimate text messages. Our lawyers have been very strict on this one, so with that in mind, I'd just like to say Rebecca Brooks is a blanking ginger blank, who blanked for Rupert Murdoch, blanked to the Levinson inquiry, blanked to the police, and once even blanked a horse while David Cameron stood by blanking. And in India this week, 50 elephants went on a drunken rampage after drinking 500 litres of moonshine. In other news, a hen party from Wigan has gone missing. Did you know, for example, 25% of children aren't allowed to play conkers at school? I wasn't allowed to touch my conkers at school. Apparently, it was putting off the netball team. 13% of people have been visited by a dead person. Or, to put it another way, 13% of people have fallen asleep thinking about their nan. And a survey's revealed lap dancers pay 4 times as much for car insurance as nurses, presumably because lap dancers are more at risk of being rear-ended. The Church of England have refused to allow female bishops, denying male bishops the thing they so desperately wanted, poontang on tap. Did you know, for example, 48% of men in long-term relationships don't know their own clothes size? Although if you've been in a relationship more than 5 years, chances are it's extra large. Only 2% of the Earth's population are natural redheads, so technically it wouldn't be genocide, more of a tidy-up. And 94% of men consider themselves romantic. I'm really romantic. I often stand under my girlfriend's window and serenade her with my guitar. I say my girlfriend, it's the woman next door. I say serenade, I mean stare. And also, that's not a guitar I'm holding. Yes, the X Factor is heating up. Apparently, Rylan had 8 bum notes last Sunday, each handed to him by Louis, saying, meet me in the dressing room after.
Have you written a book?
Yeah, I've written a book, yeah.
An autobiography?
No, God, no. If I've learnt anything, it's the less that people know about me, the better. No, just a book about jokes.
About jokes?
Yeah, not an amazing... It's not as good as this book. Personally, I don't care if a book's been written by a celebrity like Rod Stewart or Simon Cowell or a member of the public like Kerry Katona. Did you know, for example, over 1.6 million Britons still live at home with their parents, and we call those people children. It takes giraffes up to an hour to have sex, but most of that is necking. And 65% of people think Britain is a great place to live. And that's a survey of people hanging on to the undercarriage of the Eurostar.